incredible moments that happened with the publishing of my first book. And it was based on my dissertation, and the dissertation was way too long for anybody to be interested in publishing. It was over 500 pages, and some person in one of the reviews coming back said, "This is not an idea for a book. It might work as a 20-page article." And I'm like, I went to a conference and met the publisher of the leading series in my field, the University of Michigan Press, and she expressed interest in it. And so I sent the book on to her, and she sent it out to 2 readers. One reader came back incredibly positive. Another reader, and my first book was on looking at comparatively at between Black and Chicano theater. And the second review came back, and reviews for a book are anonymous. And the second review came back incredibly negative. And it was negative in a way that became virtually personal. In terms of the person rejecting it, that this was it was clear from the person that they knew that this book was written by an African American. They were wondering, what is this guy and what business does this guy have writing about Chicano theater? And it was interesting. In reading the letters, which are anonymous, I could figure out who it was. Not only getting the negative comments, which hurt, which stung, but really thinking about where they were coming from and being proactive. So, I wrote an introduction that I probably wouldn't have written again, saying, outing myself in a sense as this Black man writing this book and what I'm trying to do. And, my feeling of that was only strengthened by that we can't be, in a sense, parochial, that only Black people can write this and white people can write this or Chicano people can write this, that comparative studies in the place of ethnicity are so critical to thinking about, race transnationally, transculturally, cross-culturally, whatever, about concerns. And so that has remained, part of the work I do or continue to do as a scholar. So in her own way, I should have thanked this woman in that ride. But, the lessons learned from it. One was that in terms of the part of the book that I had to make stronger was the comparative and the knowledge and really knowing Chicano theater in an even stronger way. I was blessed in the sense that I had colleagues here who did Chicano theater, who knew it, and were Chicano and read it for me and gave me suggestions. So having someone there as a way to sort of turn that rejection to the person, the editor at the University of Michigan didn't give up. And I guess the 3 was my sense of determination. I'm going to make this work and think about what I guess you would call the politics of location. By that I mean, what does it mean for me as a Black person to write comparatively about Black and Chicano theater, and how do I think about and be sensitive? So the rejection, in a sense, made me sensitive to writing the book potentially differently, and the book was published and has gone on, or I've gone on, but academia, there's continual rejections along the way, and it's often around publication that you'll send something to a journal, and the journal will say no. And somehow we've got to pick up, and that happened most recently to an article written by my wife and me. And again, we expected that we were both at a career point that this journal would take it, but they didn't. So what we did, we turned around, we looked at it again, made changes, and sent it out to another journal. So that sense of really being able to pick yourself up afterwards, that it's not the end, but to really try, in my experience, to try to see it as a different beginning. It sort of hurts to get rejected, but there's got to be some lesson and some learning in that. And, sometimes the learning is hard. And, the first book, there were times where I felt that I'm never going to be able to do this. But that couldn't be my end thought. And getting rid of those negative feelings was necessary to make everything else work.